All right. So let's continue what we were talking. So that is how the entire subject came into existence. If you talk about roughly in India, we started actually working on strategic management somewhere in the year 1974 and 1975. And let me also tell you, the one of the first companies to adopt a practice of working for future, adopt a practice where they plan to expand, adopt a practice, they planned their processes, and the word that was terminology that they used first time in India for the word strategic management was corporate planning. And the first company to actually adopt this was BHEL, that was Bharat Heavy Electronics Limited, in the year 1975. Of course, there has been a lot of business transformation after that. There has been a lot of changes which the BHEL has incorporated, and now it's expanding, and it is in a the public sector undertaking. I'm sure you are aware, it's a very popular and a very old public sector setup, enterprise, and an undertaking of the government. So having said that, strategic management was a subject which not only in India, across the world people were using it. And Harry Ansoff, you will be studying about the Ansoff matrix in unit 3. So Harry Ansoff was the first gentleman who coined the word. So if you have got no notebook and a pen which is around you, please make a note of this. It was Harry Ansoff in the year 1965. He said that there has to be something which is called as a strategy. There has to be a future course of action, and organization need to look at the future course of action. Chalo, let's go ahead. So this was just a basic introduction. We will be telling more about this subject in detail to you. It's about plans, it's about improvisation, it's about goal setting, it's about insights, how you need to innovate and things like that. So basically, strategic management is that course of the business where they decide what they need to do in the years to come to achieve certain objectives, to achieve certain areas, and to achieve certain results. So what is this subject going to do to y'all? So if you look at it, this subject is basically, the course objective of this subject is, it's going to you'll understand the basic concepts. One second, I think we went to outcome, we went to syllabus. One second, give me a minute. Yes. So if you're looking at the course objectives, you will be in a position to understand the various perspectives and the concepts. You will be able to understand the skills, the techniques of how you're going to apply these concepts when you'll actually be business leaders to solve business problems. And of course, this subject will help the students master certain tools which are analytical in nature, and they are of course adopted by strategic managers across the globe. So those perspectives is what you're going to get through this subject. Having said this, what is going to be the outcome? Why you need to know these outcomes is because you as a learner need to know that by the end of these 3 semesters, I am going to understand the basic concepts of strategic management. I am going to understand the various facets of strategic management and how are organizations, how do organizations actually create strategies? How is it that they formulate strategies, and how do they implement certain aspects? And when they implement, they realize that it is just not one directional. There is a multi-functional aspect. It is very multidimensional in nature, and this helps them create a holistic perspective to the development of the organization. Of course, when they start looking at the development aspect, every development comes with a set of problems and challenges. So how should the management, or how do organizations face these problems, and what approaches that they develop, what approaches that they adopt, so that they can function effectively? And last but not the least is, by this subject you are going to develop a mindset where you will look at the totality in context. So you're not only going to look at only one okay ma'am, I'm only going to look, because I'm a marketing guy, I'm only going to look at marketing. No, as strategic managers, learners, you are going to be looking at the totality of how marketing, in tandem with finance, in tandem with certain operation, and in tandem with the people around, you are going to look at the business environment in whole. So through this subject, this is what you are going to learn. what is going to be the syllabus, and this is I'll quickly run through the 5 units that you have for this subject, where the unit 1 will talk about certain, it's an introduction to the various processes. It talks about it's actually from 1.4 that you actually get into the nerve of the subject. So we will introduce the strategic management to you. We will introduce certain concepts. What are the dimensions that organizations look at when they want to, think about growth? So if they're thinking about growth, is there a method of reaching to that growth? Is there an intent? What is that intent called? And if that is called as a strategic intent, when strategic intent, they want to arrive at certain objectives. So such objectives, when they are put on blueprint, it is called as a vision, and the methods to reach certain vision is called as a mission. So we will talk about such aspects of vision, mission, and we'll talk about how organizations develop their own indicators whether they are reaching to the vision or not. So what areas that they look at? So is there any key result area that they focus and they only look at that aspect for the coming 2 years maybe? So is there a hierarchy? Is there a level that they need these organizations maintain? How do these managers think? See, understand one thing: strategic and management, there are a combination of 2 words. Strategy is something which we call it as a course of action. And what do you mean by management? You've almost learned management for 1 year. You will realize that management is nothing but an art and science of getting work done by optimuming utilization of the resources, because resources are always very scarce. So you need to have an optimum, efficient and effective utilization of, of resources, and the art of doing this and getting people do this. Please understand that as this course is more about getting people doing it rather than you doing it yourself. And this practice, this art, when is taught by the course of action, this becomes your strategic management, and this becomes a very important aspect. So that is the reason in the introduction itself in 1.2 you will realize that strategic management is different from operational management and administrative management. Please, that is a hell lot of a difference. Of course, as we go in the depth of the subject, you will realize that the difference is very, very wide. But at the same time, you need to understand that we are looking at a future aspect of how the organization is going to utilize their resources, taking into consideration that the resources are going to be utilized optimally. Because you have to remember one thing: the 5 M's are always very scarce. I'm sure you have studied that in management, where the 5, I wouldn't want to go start the entire first year again. So what do you mean by management? Management is an art and science to achieve and get work done from people by optimum utilization of resources effectively and efficiently. Because you have to know one thing: the resources are always very scarce, and I'm sure you are aware which are the resources. So they are the 5 M's. First, manpower. Second, money. Third, markets. Fourth, which is the fourth? Fourth, management, money, market, manpower.
Land.
हो गया ना dear? And fifth one, who's going to chip in right now?
Material.
Materials. Yes. So see, the point here, what I really wanted to drive was that you have to understand that when we are looking at strategic management, the people on the top need to identify a course of action so as to reach a certain destination. So you have to realize that, and all of this we are only going to look in the business parlance, because if you look at management, there are so many management: time management, health management, mind management, blah blah. There are so many things. In the next, from the first class today till the last class, we are only going to look at the business perspective of why organizations effectively and efficiently utilize certain resources, because they want to reach a certain destination, and strategy will help you formulate that journey. So this is how is going to be your unit 1. So you have to understand, when you're talking about business, you have to understand that there is an external environment which is going to be playing a role in the business. So you have to analyze that environment. So you would have certain stakeholders, you would have internal and external stakeholders. You are going to identify your organization's business opportunity. Is that an opportunity in the environment? A classic example right now, look at how COVID has affected and disrupted the way we are doing our business. If you're talking about education industry, look at certain communication mechanisms, how have suddenly disrupted the existing mechanisms, and now manpower says you don't even need offices to come and do the work. You, as far as the deliverables are reached, you can come and utilize your space. So look at the way the external environment plays such an important role in the way the companies look out for opportunities, and that is the reason you're going to study that in unit 1. And is there a model? You are not going to be the only person doing it. You would have a lot of other people who are also in the business of doing the same thing. So you have to analyze your environment in terms of also the second party involved who's competing with you. So that's where you have as competitor analysis. So is there a model who will tell you that कैसे आप competitor को analyze करोगे? एनालाइज तो करना पड़ेगा ना भाई, तो आप कैसे करोगे उसको एनालाइज? सो देर आर लॉट ऑफ वर्क विच हैज बीन डन, एंड द मोस्ट द competent and the most progressive work which was done was by Michael Porter. It is the theory of competitive advantage. We are going to study the 5 forces model, and we are going to do that in depth. Of course, we are going to do every topic in depth. So that's unit 1 for you. So it's basically talking about the strategic management process. What of strategic management? So what? Let's go to the next, where we are going to involve and we are going to understand that in what, how are you going to look ahead of whether the organization is in a position to develop an advantage of what it is strength is. So is there a core competence which it feels only they as an organization have? So you will understand the internal strengths of the company. So is there a method? Is there certain distinctive parameters? What do you call them? And that's where we call it as the core competence. So we're going to study a little bit of it. And then of course, every organization develops its own capability profile when it wants to achieve a certain objective. So we are going to study that. And last but not the least, in unit 2, you would have a certain analysis. You need to know, right, where am I going to head? Is there an analysis which will help me do that, to understand the way my business is running? Is there an analysis which will help you analyze my work that I'm doing? So that is where you come as the portfolio analysis. That's going to be unit 2 for you. Syllabus is a little vast. Syllabus is a little in-depth. Syllabus is also, you need to understand that it is very, very, comprehensive. Let's go to unit 3. Which are the strategies? So we understood what, we understood when the organizations are going to do it. Now let's look at how and which. So when I say how or which, what does it mean? It simply means that which are the strategies. बताएंगे ना भाई, syllabus आपको ये भी बताएगा आपको कौन सी strategy किस problem के लिए कौन सी strategy आप use करोगे. Are you going to use strategies which are general in nature, or are you going to use strategies which are very specifically objective related? So you want to reduce your cost. So is there a method to only reduce cost, or you simply want to go ahead and I want to, ma'am, my organization wants to diversify in the next 5 years into various sectors, into various geographical areas, and into various demographic profiles. So if diversification is my strategy, is there a specific strategy for that? And we are going to look at the tools and techniques. One of the very popular ones is mergers, acquisitions. One of the very popular ones is collaborative partnerships. One of the very popular ones is your strategic alliances. My customer is the same, so why do I fight with you? Why don't we both join together and take care of the customer? You share a little, I share a little. So I create an alliance which is going to be good for me. And I do that not at the operational level, I do that at the strategic level. Okay, and I decide that, okay, let's share the revenues and make a profit out of it. Having said that, I also do something where I said, I don't want to manage the costs of something which I can outsource to. So can I adopt those strategies? So you are going to look at unit 3, where we are going to have a combination of business strategies, which are also called as generic competitive strategies. And also we are going to look at administrative rand strategies, where you're going to look at how they are going to be operationalized in the due course of time. Acha, you have done this. You realized what are the strategies, you realized when have I going to adopt it, you realized which strategies I'm going to adopt. And then what are you going to do? You are going to see what I did was in the interest of what I thought I had decided. मीन्स व्हाट, मैंने ये सोचा था कि भाई मैं XYZ रिजल्ट तक पहुंच जाऊंगा. इन द सेंस इफ आई एम इन 10 लोकेशंस, आई वांट टू इंक्रीज माय लोकेशंस टू 50 लोकेशन. दिस इज व्हाट आई हैड थॉट फॉर माय ग्रोथ. So if this is what I had thought for my growth, am I going in the right direction? I need to do a check, right? I need to do a check. I need to monitor. I need to evaluate. I need to see what I'm doing is in the right process or not. So when I do that, when I want to understand, is your unit 4, this slide, okay, yes, perfect. So once you start implementing it, what happens? You start realizing that, okay, this is working for me and this is not working for me, man. I need to look at changing my way that I'm doing certain business. I need to understand that, look, if I, even if I'm changing, if I want to change, ये तो मेरी thought process है. Organization को भी तो उधर जो लोग काम कर रहे हैं उनको भी तो ये कल्चर डेवलप होना चाहिए कि भाई लुक, ये मेरा विजन है, ये आपको भी यही विजन जो है अडॉप्ट करना चाहिए. So you are going to start looking at implementation of those strategies. And how are you going to do it? This is the method that you're going to adopt. So unit 4 will tell you that how are you going to implement what you thought in your unit 3. So how are you going to implement it? Are you going to adopt certain emergent strategies? Are you going to avoid the McKinsey framework? आप adopt करने वाले हो क्या? क्या आप Six Sigma adopt करने वाले हो क्या? What processes adopt करने वाले हो? क्या आप मेट्रिक्स करोगे या आप स्पेशल सिर्फ प्रॉफिट सेंटर पे मैं काम करूंगा, स्ट्रेटेजिक बिजनेस यूनिट बनाऊंगा, फ्रेंचाइजी मॉडल दूंगा? सो इज देयर माय डिजाइन टू क्रिएट such environments? Is there a design of my organization to take care of the changing environment? So I will create my design according to the environment which is there in front of me. So that kind of organizational structures, that kind of strategy implementation, that kind of processes that you're going to adopt is unit 4. And when you start adopting, what is it that you realize that अरे ये तो मैं 2 साल तो मैं ठीक चल रहा था, तीसरे साल थोड़ी सी ना मुझे दिक्कत हो गई, तीसरे साल I realized that there is some problem somewhere. So my strategy is not working the way I thought I was thinking that it would work. So I need to change. I need to adopt new methods. I need to understand that I need a change. ये भी तो जरूरी है ना भाई. तो वो आप कब करोगे? So you start recognizing symptoms. कैसे सिम्टम्स को रिकॉग्नाइज करोगे? मेरा प्रॉफिट सेंटर काम नहीं कर रहा है तो आपको एक्सेल शीट्स बनानी पड़ेंगे. माय ऑपरेशनल कंट्रोल मैकेनिज्म्स हैव टू बी प्लेस्ड. एंड वन ऑफ द वेरी वेरी पॉपुलर स्ट्रेटेजी इवैल्यूएशन टूल इज योर बैलेंस स्कोर कार्ड tool. So it's a very very beautiful tool, and we will study that through a lot of case studies, and we'll study that it's a very interesting subject. So you will understand how organizations, big organizations across the globe, adopt certain strategies and they do so well, and certain, in spite of adopting certain strategies, don't do well. Why? Because they have not changed, because they have not recognized that their strategies are malfunctioning. ये जो एरिया है वो थोड़ा सा बीमार पड़ गया, ये मुझे पता ही नहीं चला. कैसे पता नहीं चला? क्योंकि आपका जो कंट्रोल मैकेनिज्म था, आपका मॉनिटरिंग मैकेनिज्म जो था, आपका इवैल्यूएशन मैकेनिज्म जो था, इसमें आपको रिकग्निशन का जो मैकेनिज्म था ये आपका ठीक नहीं था. तो मेरे 10 कंपनीज थे, 10 में से 2 मेरे चल ही नहीं रहे क्योंकि मेरा 5 कंपनीज बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है, is not the answer. There is a mechanism to evaluate, and one of the very popular mechanism is your balance score card. And last but not the least, आपने mechanism तो adopt कर लिया and you realized, oh my god, मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था, this was such a new thing for me. मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था कि ऐसा environment हो जाएगा कि सिर्फ मेरा देश ही नहीं, 122 countries, 198 countries. Right now, how many countries are there in the whole world? It is 198 countries. And it is said that COVID pandemic is one of such mankind disasters where it happens not once. The whole mankind as a human race has been affected. किसी ने सोचा ही नहीं था ना. तो मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा? ऐसे भी मुझे सिचुएशंस को हैंडल करने का सोच आना चाहिए. आई नीड टू थिंक अबाउट सर्टन थिंग्स, एंड दैट इज वेयर we welcome you to the last unit, where we say that this is called as the blue ocean strategies, something which is completely novel, and it worked for me as an organization, something which was so challenging. Like मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ कि don't take situations where if it is so challenging is going to be something so bad. No, there is always a silver lining to it. Walt Disney was created when United States of America was in Great Depression, and you know, Walt Disney was the Walton gentle. He said that I need to make people smile, and that's when he created two characters. And you know what the characters have done? They are still so much live with us. Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. Look at, why do we go 100 years before? Look at the latest example of 2016. They thought that demonetization is going to be the worst thing that would affect any business. They would thought demonetization is the worst thing that would happen because India is a cash economy. Kya hoga Bharat desh ka? And things started moving, and there was just economic, you will typical, if you say, external environment impact, where they said now everything has to be digital, and everything is what you have to suddenly start telling the government, which earlier also they said, but it was done in a different manner, and demonetization came into existence. Everybody said abhi kya hoga mere company ka, and everything needs to be digital now. Suddenly 500 rupees notes are closed down, and they say, okay, now for the next, for the times to come, you are going to stop utilizing this currency, and we will start, you have to start doing everything digital. And look at the situation, everybody were in panic situation. What happened? It was the phoenix rise of one of the most companies, Vijayarajan, Paytm. What happened? It was a company which started in the year 2004 2005, actually instituted in 2007, and they were in almost to closure. And they said, no, it's not happening, people are not really thought the way they thought I would work. And look, the whole company situation changes. So is your organization ready to work for such strategies, those kind of offbeat, completely novel, completely unique strategies? And this area that you're going to study, these mechanisms, are called as blue ocean strategies. A very, very interesting topic. There are very good books in our library for it, and I have tried. Let's hope for the best to get the best for you. So let's see how it goes forward. So I just hope you would like the classes the way we have planned out to be. Having said that, let's go ahead. So do you agree when I say that the models of doing certain businesses have revamped? The models of doing a certain business in a dynamic environment have changed. So what do you mean by this model? Is it a model? Is it a prototype, madam? क्या कोई prototype है क्या ये a plus b is equal to c? बट यहाँ पे a के इतने वेरिएबल्स है, b के इतने वेरिएबल्स है, जो c आता है c में भी इतने वेरिएबल्स है. तो इज देयर अ कंपोनेंट जो अगर मैं बिजनेस शुरू करना चाहता हूँ, कोई मॉडल है मैडम? मुझे कुछ बनाना पड़ेगा, कोई मुझे प्लान बनाना पड़ेगा. इज देयर अ मॉडल विच आई नीड टू डू? व्हेन इज देयर अ गाइडलाइन? So such guidelines are called as business models. And of course, you need to know the challenging environment that you're going to be facing. So you have to know the e-commerce business model. You have to know that how Internet of Things have affected the organization's capability, also the capacity. And of course, you also need to know that now the value chain is just not driven by X, Y, Z as variables. Now, value chain has a very important parameter which have changed the traditional businesses. So that is the internet. So now you have virtual value chains, and you need to identify this virtual value chain. You need to identify that there are people who are going to change the way you think about certain businesses. So there are people whom we call as influencers. There are people who are called as opinion leaders. So these terminologies you need to know. You means what? As business managers. You means what? As organizations. You need to know that there are people, there are systems, there are external stakeholders who have who are going to play a very important role in your organization. And that is where the traditional set of businesses are definitely going to revamp. The traditional set of businesses are going to change. Traditional set of businesses are going to be revoked. So when I use these three words, they are going to regain a chance of having a different kind of an impact to the environment. So your impact to the environment, so you agree when I say that there is going to be an impact? I'm sure you all agree. So when I say that there is going to be an impact, the impact cannot just keep happening, and you as a third party cannot just saying कि चलो मैं इसको तो impact करता ही रहूंगा, देखते कब तक चलता है. But अभी ऐसा नहीं है. आपने as organizations and as companies, the impact have reached to a level where it is started affecting your own existence, and that's what the mankind, it happened to the mankind. It started, you know, your impact started becoming more not only to the business environment, also you means as organizations started having an environment, had started having an impact to the environment. So when I look at environment, it is the society, and every organization is responsible to the society. How can you just get up and say नहीं मैं तो सिर्फ यही करूंगा क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि ये करने से मेरे लिए अच्छा है? हेलो भाई, टाइम चेंज हो गया है. अब जितना आपके लिए अच्छा है मेरे लिए भी उतना ही अच्छा होना चाहिए. And such mid mechanisms, such midways have started emerging, and such a midway where you start thinking about society, you start thinking about business, you start thinking about environment, and such midways are called as sustainability. You need to be sustainable so that you as an organization will help not only grow as a company, it will also help to grow as a human race, as a entire I would say an exact word I'm trying to search here is you have to have a holistic approach in your developmental goals. And that is the reason you will hear such, when we come to unit 5, I will tell you all in detail that you will hear words like SDG. If you have not heard it, please write it in your book right now. SDG. SDG is the future. Sustainability Developmental Goals. पहले MDG होता था, मिलेनियम डेवलपमेंटल गोल्स, अभी SDG होता है. तो आपने ऐसे भी शब्द सुने होंगे, कार्बन फुटप्रिंट कितना होता है मेरी कंपनी का, कितना मैं एनवायरनमेंट को इफेक्ट करता हूँ, मेरे कंपनी की वजह से कितना क्लाइमेटिक चेंज को मैं इफेक्ट करता हूँ. सो एवरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हैव टू स्टार्ट गिविंग accounting. So these are also called as green accounting standards, because we have to live in this planet, right? You can't just get up and say nahi सिर्फ मैं मेरा सोचूंगा और मैं सिर्फ मेरे कस्टमर्स का सोचूंगा. नहीं, यू हैव टू लुक एट द बॉटम लाइन ऑल्सो. सो अगर आप टॉप ऑफ द पिरामिड में हो एंड यू कैन कंट्रीब्यूट टू द बॉटम ऑफ द पिरामिड, वी वांट द होल ह्यूमन रेस टू ग्रो, नो? सो one of the 23 principles of sustainable developmental growth is you also need to eradicate poverty, and that is the reason you'll have lot of companies doing a lot of donation drives. You have charity, charity drives, and lot of people are doing philanthropic activities. Why? Because they want to link people, they want to link profits, and they want to link it to the planet. And that is where you have a connection, because and big people have to think this, no? हम जैसे छोटों का क्या काम है इधर? बड़े लोगों को एट बड़े कंपनीज के लेवल पे उनको ऐसे डिसीजंस लेने पड़ेंगे which will take into consideration not only the profit, they will also take into consideration that how the planet is looking at their profits, how the people are reacting to those planets. Is there a framework? Is there certain parameters where you can integrate this and come midway? Yes, there are sustainability models. So we are going to introduce, in fact in fourth semester you have it in detail, but definitely at strategy, because it is extremely related to strategic management. So we would look at the threats, we would look at integrating these issues with the strategic management. So this is the syllabus for you, in detail, where we are, what we are going to learn in the next 3 months. I have always believed that in the first class, I should always tell you the syllabus. I have always believed that you should know that what are you going to learn in the times to come. So next 2.5 months, what is it that I'm going to learn in my subject? So this is what you're going to learn in your subject. Now, let's come here to the next and most important part, which students are like, okay, madam, abhi to bolna hi padega. And that's your course evaluation. It's a full credit subject, and there are important aspects which are there which are related to this, because we have to evaluate how much you know, so that when you are out of our syllabus and you are out of our campus, you are not only doing well academically, you have to also do well professionally. So we will assess you how well you do professionally, so that we will help you go with flying colors. So we will evaluate you on 2 parameters. So if your book is around, please make a note. Concurrent evaluation 1 is going to be your MCQ. Concurrent evaluation 2 is going to be your case study. So there is a method that I have decided for the case study, which I will tell you in due course of time. But since we are on this slide, I would want to, quickly take you through of what is it that, I have designed the case study for y'all. Designed in the sense, each one, okay. So let's, next 5 to 7 minutes, we are going to talk about the concurrent evaluation. So please take your book and pen around so that you can make a note of certain important things which I'm going to tell you. Your entire class has been divided into different groups. Okay, you cannot change the groups right now. Let me make it very clear. I can understand you are in 3rd semester, so you would want to be with the people that you always were. So I have introduced you all to new people and a new set of course, we are not going to change the division. We are going to keep the same division, but the whole division has been distributed in various groups. So this is the document of concurrent evaluation. You should have this document. I will be putting it on the group so that you have the document in front of you. So this is what it is. So if you look at this, you have to do an online submission of this PDF document. It shouldn't exceed 10 pages. The maximum that you would have is 10 pages, and you're going to cover 6 points in it. Please make a note of it. You are going to cover the case study in 6 points. First, we will also give you the company. You don't have to search the
Hello.
company. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt,
Yes.
but we can see just PPT only, not the PDF that you have opened.
Acha, you are not, I thought you were seeing the PPT. Good job, dear. Good, you told me. 1 second.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. 1 second. Share, and then you have it as. Can you all see me now? Maybe one of you can just chip in.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Asmita. Okay, now everybody on mute. Now let's go ahead. Your entire concurrent evaluation has been distributed into 2. One is an MCQ test you would have for 20 marks, which would be 40 MCQ questions that we would do at the maybe at the fag end of the semester, which will incorporate the whole syllabus. And the second would be case study. As and when we go ahead, typically I would give you 1.5 months before you 1.5 months for the case study for you all to write. So you will be, the entire class is going to be distributed in this group. I've already created groups for division A, division B, and division C. So this A plus C1, see your group is here. So we'll quickly run through it. If you see, you have to create a document. What is it? 6 members are there in every group. Okay, and every group has been given one company that they have to study in depth. So first will be the company profile, where you would have to tell about the current things of the company. What is it into? What is it? What is the number? They are number 1, they are number 2, number 5. What is the market capitalization? And you would also have to tell me where the headquarters are and what originated that idea. So that is one liner that you have to attach to. So group 1 is given Google, group 2 is given Amazon. So you've got all the top international as well as national companies. And what are you going to do? First, you're going to have company profile. Second, you're going to have divisions of the companies, which we also call it as a strategic business unit. So which divisions? So if you talk about Larsen and Toubro in India, they are in more than 11 divisions. If you talk about Reliance, they are more in 6 divisions. If you talk about Google, they're more in 4 divisions. So you need to identify the strategic business unit. If you go to the website, you would get the details, but I want you all to do that. Second, that's the second point. Third, you have to understand what strategic goals they have decided for themselves. And the most beautiful aspect of the today's economy is all the companies declare what they are going to do. Why? Because they want the shareholders to believe in their dream. okay, and they want the shareholders to also help them achieve as stakeholders. So that is the reason all the companies, all the conglomerates, business conglomerates, also all the big business houses declare their strategic goals. You will get all of them in the website. And another important thing, very important aspect which I have given, which I have also to be added here, is you need to compulsorily make a note of the source from where you are writing the information. So your literary review check has to be very precise. So अगर आपने research paper से लिया है तो research paper का नाम होना चाहिए. Ideally, these are such big companies, it's going to be a beautiful journey for you to understand these companies. So I would want you all to go to the basic website of these companies so that you can contribute and understand the companies. Having said that, vision and mission of the companies, there are 2 marks given to it, 2 marks to the strategic goals, because on an average 4 to 6 goals is what every company aspires for. Very important. The next 10 marks and 10 marks have been bifurcated to the strategies adopted by the company, which are the competitive advantages strategies, which are the generic strategies, and you are going to analyze that company with respect to the top 5 companies as their competitors. So you have to write their competitors as well. Last but not the least, you have to do the SWOT, which is your strengths, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis, which is of that organization. So I'm sure this is clear to you. This is the bifurcation of the marks which are allocated for comprehensive concurrent evaluation, which is your case study. And this is the groups which are there. You would get it on the, I'm going to post it on the group today, or maybe by end of this week, or maybe Monday. From Monday we will, I'll post it so that you can start working on it. So as and when we go ahead in the subject, it will be easier for you to relate your company to what is being taught in the class. So if I am going to talk about how Google, if I am going to talk about certain strategy, so if I say that strategy is a unified, comprehensive, integrated plan to achieve certain objective, तो आपको आपके ग्रुप को immediately आना चाहिए कि अरे गूगल ने तो ये सोचा था ना भाई कि वो नेक्स्ट 5 years में आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस रोबोट के कार्स निकालने वाले हैं. तो योर माइंड शुड रन लाइक दैट. सो दैट इज द रीजन in next week itself your groups are given to you, where you would have Indian as well as international companies, all the best companies. You have the top 10 companies of the world, you have the top 10 companies of India. Okay, where this is for you. So this is group 10 till division A. Okay, and then this is for division B, and then you would start from division C again. So you would have, if you see, you would have the Mahindra Group, the Adani Group, ITC, Samsung, Mercedes Benz, Reliance Industries, Bajaj Group of Industries, Wipro, and Amul. So if you see, this is what we have planned as a concurrent evaluation. It's going to be a beautiful journey. I'm sure the students will understand the understand these companies and how the companies have used their resources, their capabilities, and how these companies have adopted certain strategies, and they have become the strongest in the area that they belong to. Right? So this is the concurrent evaluation for you, and I really want you to be excited about this, because you're going to look at the organizations very differently. You're not only going to look at marketing strategies, you're not only going to look at HR strategies कि इतने लोगों ने उन्होंने निकाल दिया, इतने लोगों ने उन्होंने हायर कर दिया, ये सोचा क्यों भाई? कोई थॉट प्रोसेस होगी जिसकी वजह से उन्होंने वो चीज सोची. So you are going to talk about the thought process. All right, so this is from my side for concurrent evaluation. So let's come back to my slide where I was telling you all about the CCE. So 50 marks is going to be your university examination, and 50 marks here. It was 25 earlier. I thought it was 20. I thought I should do 25 and 25, but I just changed this in yesterday's class itself. When I was talking to B division, I said no, it has to be 30 and 20, because there's going to be a lot of information that you're going to write, and you're going to love it when you're going to write those information. So I thought I need to justify that, giving you more marks. So that's going to be 30 and 20. And of course, these marks will be converted to 100. And After converting it to 100, you would, we will, so we'll be converting it to 50. And as we do it for so many years to come, final marks will be sent to the Pune University, right? So, going forward, if the resources that you would know for this subject, one second, huh? Yes, yes. So these are the books which are there. Azhar Kazmi is a very, very popular book. There are a lot of good books. Kenneth Starkley is also very nice. David is very nice. So these are the books which you can use for this subject. I will also be giving you individual notes. In fact, my slides would be enough for you all to study for the MCQ as well for the final examinations, because they are in depth, they are in detail, and they would be very, very comprehensive in understanding. So this is my me for you for the next 2.5 months. So I'm going to stop here, and before we go ahead of the class, I would want to summarize what is it that we did in today's class. In today's class, we spoke about the syllabus. In today's class, we told you about the concurrent evaluation that you are going to do. In today's class, we just introduced the subject of strategy to y'all, that what is it, and what do you mean when I say that they have to achieve an action plan. So when I say it is an integrated action plan, what do you mean? Of course, keep attending. We will be talking about it more. But we just introduced strategic management to y'all, and we said it's a combination of these two. Why? Because management is an art and science of getting the work done by optimum utilization of resources effectively and efficiently. And when you're doing this, you have to create a course of plan, and that is the reason you have to study strategic management. So this is from my side. Last 5 minutes. Any questions?
कोणता किराणा दुकान?
Any questions? Shivani Raut? Thank you. Yes, any questions? You all can put it on the chat box. I'm here to answer it. Last 5 minutes of every class, we would have a question answer session. So we don't want everybody to be just mute spectators to what's happening in the class. I would want everybody to, because from tomorrow, we'll also going to have certain, flyers, which you will all answer through the classroom. So we will introduce it to you in tomorrow's and day after tomorrow's class. Yes. So any questions? Shivani Raut? Mute. Yes. I would want to, I'll unmute. Yes. Any questions? You can unmute, or maybe you can raise your hands. We've got 77 participants from A plus C. So I just seeing everybody here. So at this point of time, we start Pooja, roll number 29.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Pooja, we have created an automative mechanism for attendance. However, at least for this week and next week, you are going to take the attendance of the students present, and you are going to mail it to me. All right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So my mail ID, and this is for everybody. It is Shilpa _ Kankonkar, SHILPA _ Kankonkar @rediffmail.com.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, Pooja, you're going to do the
Yes,
attendance part of it. But we have started an automative mechanism as well. But as a backup, you're going to do it for this week and the next week.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So 3 minutes to go. Any questions, Pooja?
No, ma'am.
Okay, beautiful. So Pooja, another important thing I would want to tell you is send me a hello, and I want you to create a group for strategic management A division. okay,
ma'am.
on WhatsApp. And there I'm going to put the slide of today what we have done. You're going to keep a
Yes.
backup of that slide. I'll mail it to you so that you have a backup of it. Second aspect is concurrent evaluation detail group, which I have prepared. I'm going to send it to you. So you are going
Okay.
to be one point of contact till the time we get streamlined and everybody else comes into a picture. All right, is that okay with you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, Pooja. Any questions anybody wants to have for concurrent evaluation before we sign off? We've got 1 minute to go.
Ma'am, the group will be of A plus C1, na?
Hanji, dear. It's going to
Okay.
be A plus C1.
Okay,
The
ma'am.
companies also have been distributed to you all.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
I'm
Ashwini. Yes,
Ashwini.
Ashwini. Yes, dear.
Ma'am, my roll number is 62, and in concurrent evaluation, I'm a B division. I'm from A division.
Okay. Okay, I'll make a note of it then. So I need to change that that Excel sheet. Okay, I'll do that. Good point. 1 second. I'll
Okay,
just make a
thank you,
note of
ma'am.
it. Yes, yes, dear. I'll just make a note of it. Okay. Anybody else? This is very, very important, students. So I would want you all to understand if there is any question, you can route it through the group, no problem. This is the first class. So I welcome you once again. Thank you so much. It was very nice talking to you all. The video recording of the class that is also going to be available if somebody wants to go back and study the topics, which will be shared, online and offline also to you. It will be available on the computers as well. We are trying to do a common repository. Let's see how it works. Thank you so much, students. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Pooja.
Thank you, ma'am.